Welcome to the Blameless podcast 5. I'm sorry there's been the delay, it's just been the restrictions of COVID. With me is Colin McNair, who's going to give us his story. Part of his story, this will be the financial impact of a drug user to society. And it's very brave, and I'm very thankful to Colin for him doing this. So Colin, can you tell me where you were born and what schools you went to and when you left?
I was born in 1969, went to Thomasmuir High School in Bishopbriggs, and I left there in 1985.
Well, we sort of, thanks Colin, we planned for this earlier, as you know, so that education, counting like family allowances and different things and then your education, that was a cost of £35,000. We'll get the £5,000 bundles here. So that's £35,000. Now, I'm led to believe you entered 6 years full-time employment. Who was that with and when did it stop?
I started at the age of 16, and my first club was Hearts in the Premier League. Then I went to another Premier League club, that was Falkirk. And then I went to a third Premier League club, which was Motherwell, and that stopped in 1992.
So we've checked back the records, and you were quite a high earner as a football player there, and you'll be glad to know that during that small time in employment you paid £30,000 in tax, which we're going to take back, and you'll see it changing on the screen as well as we go. So now I'm told that you went down a road of crime to fund your drug using. Can you let us know how that ended?
Yes, my career ended through me experimenting with drugs, and then I had to fund my habit to pay for the drugs, and I committed a lot of crime to do that, basically.
And how did that end for you?
That ended with 29 convictions at courts and 7 years in prison.
Well, I've done the 7 years in court. The 7 years in prison at that rate. Would you be surprised to know that was actually a cost to the taxpayer of £130,000? Now that's 50. Add 100, and that's another 30. So you mentioned the amount of times you were in court. How many was that again?
29.
Now, you had mentioned earlier about High Court appeals?
Yes, I appealed 4 of them, so I had to go to the High Court, Edinburgh High Court of Appeal.
Now, what we've done is the very well-known defence lawyer, Amar Anwar, his office has been good enough to give us the figures that the legal aid costs. I'm right to say you never paid for any of these yourself?
Oh, no.
So during that, and this, I'm told by Amar that it's actually £70,000 is rather on the low side. So I'm running out a wee bit of space. So that's 50. £70,000. I'll just occupy a wee bit of your side. And now, I think you'll see that changing on the screen there. That's us at £205,000. Now, I'm led to believe that due to your abuse of drugs, your health started to fail. Can you elaborate a wee bit on that?
Yes, through consequences of the drugs, I had blood clots, I had deep vein thrombosis, I had a stroke, was in a coma, had septicemia, and also I died twice.
So it doesn't get much more severe than that. So, and now, how long did you spend in hospital?
11 months in hospital.
So I've had the costs for that period of time, done by the accountants, Accuracy Accounting, and they tell me that's £90,000 it was a cost on that length of time. I'm fast running out of space. That's 50, 90, and you'll see that changing. You'll see that changing on the screen. Now, when you come out of hospital, you tell me the rehabilitation or?
Yes, well, because I took a stroke and I was in a wheelchair, I had to get physiotherapy to get me sort of built back up, and that lasted for 2 years.
And that was what you said, that was in year one, was 2 days a week or 2 hours a week, and then the following was another day a week.
That's
so
right.
so that wasn't so costly. That's £15,000 for that. So I'll just put another 15,000 just at your side, which is there. Now that I think you'll see that changing on the screen. Now, Colin, can I ask you how you managed to survive the 37 years since leaving school? We know that you worked for 6 years because we took the £30,000 tax back off, and we know that you were in hospital for a year, but that leaves 24 years unaccounted for.
Yes, well, it was off the government. I was getting benefits, sickness benefit, and I was getting my rent paid, my housing benefit paid, everything was paid from the state.
And during that 24 years, was there any employment at all or any tax paid?
No.
So we've done those years that you spoke about. Again, we've had Accuracy Accountant assist us with these, and that's, I hope I've enough here with me, that comes in at £175,000 for that's including house and accommodation, different things like that. So 175, which is a wee bit harder, so 50, 100, 750, 75, 75. Right, so now, Colin, one of the expenses that we've agreed to discuss, you had many medical processes, but we spoke about one in particular, which was methadone. Can you tell me?
Yes, I had to go to the chemist every day and get 90 millilitres of methadone. I was on that for 17 years.
Well, that methadone, you'll be glad to know, is one of the least costly things to society. It's only £6 odds a day, including the administration. I think it actually, including the administration, it ends up just about £63 a week. Now, you were on 90 millilitres a day, which was 630 millilitres a week, which comes to about 524 litres over the whole 17-year period, which is 122 imperial gallons. You'll see that in something we've done earlier in the year coming up on the screen now. That's what 122 imperial gallons looks like. And the cost of 17 years on that, the exact precise cost is £63,000. So I'm going to get the £63,000, 50, 60, £63,000. Now, there's one thing that we found it difficult was the victim's legacy. Can you tell us a wee bit about that?
Well, that's people that had harmed through my consequences of me getting money for drugs, people that I robbed, people I stole off, and just because I was a menace to society through my addiction.
And was that people that was called as witnesses, and people were getting criminal injuries money through this day, and and obviously we counted the £70,000 for your defence lawyers, but obviously there was the police, there was paramedics and different people like that. So with the difficulty to quantify that, we figured that it had to be well in excess of £100,000.
Yeah.
So, and that's just what we have left. So in front of us now, and you'll see the figure changing on the screen just in front of us, that is the cost. Now, what have you been doing the past? How do you live now?
I just live day by day trying to arrest my addiction and hopefully help some other people not go down the road I went down.
Well, I'm going to tell you, we're going to talk about that, about what do we do. Firstly, am I right to say that the start to your road to recovery was having a bed in a rehab?
That's right. Yes.
Is that what started it?
Yes.
Then, see, for the past 5 years, right, have you given your time tirelessly to help in the field of addiction?
Yes, I got involved with Hamilton Accies Football Club, the Blameless charity, and for there I've just tried to give a bit back to society for all the wrongdoings and what I've cost society.
I believe in an isolated case, Colin, that you've repaid society in full. Because see here in front of us, there's 4,500 statements for children for the schools that myself and Collins went round and visited and shared as real life experience. When you read the answers that's in that, when you read, when we asked the kids, the young people for their feedback, they say thanks, they're getting real life stories, lived experiences, right? Now, lived experiences. Now, that's the cost. This is one addict story. This is a cost to society, and I think you'll find it's £600,000. Now, Colin was unmarried during that period of time. There was no dependence with children and things like that. And see, when you get an alcoholic or a drug addict that's in full flow addiction, there's a whole support group of that. I've sat with many where the cost is £1 million. £1 million. So here's the only answer. There aren't enough beds. There are not enough beds. There are not enough people working it. It's not been applied. The other thing is as well, Scotland now has the highest death rate in Europe. I think it's 1,236 dead with drugs, over 1,100 dead with alcohol, 836 suicides. I think that climbed to 924. This is reality, and doing nothing isn't an option. You know, we have to get more beds. We have to bring in commerce. We have to do whatever it takes. We have to bring the Scottish Government to account. We have to sit down and say, what are we going to do about this? It's not going to go away. It's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. But I think there's an answer. Colin, rehabs, get it out, the real life experiences, but above all, if we can get into the schools, see if the kids are forewarned and forearmed, see if they know what they're coming out to, if they know that that these are the issues they're going to address. A lot of these kids never knew they were coming out to look at alcohol and drugs as glamorous. Or when the kids start to leave the schools and go into universities and colleges and into the workplace, they're going to be met with these things, and we have to arm them. We have to let them know. We have to give them the chance, get them informed, and then the alcoholic addicts that are trapped and caught up inside it. And this is a family disease. See, the poor addict. We talked about the victim's legacy here. This isn't just about the poor alcoholic, the poor addict. This is the devastation, the whirlwind of destruction that's gone through life. And without addressing this, it's only going to get worse. So I'm so grateful to Colin, and it's so brave, and the difference Colin's making, and this is it, we can find this. See if we bring people through the other side of this horror. There's an awful lot of great people now working in addiction that have come through addiction, and that's what you need. We need to sit down. Everyone has to be fully informed of what's happening here. But look, that's it. Taxpayers' money. And we have to find a way to stop this, and I think we need to find a way to stop this together. It's no point shouting. The government's got a very, very, very hard job indeed. It's not going to be easy. But see if we work together. See if we don't point the finger of blame. See if we turn and say this is a problem. See if we don't analyse just now how we got into this position. Let's find a way to get out of it, and let's find a way of getting out of it together. So I'm going to thank you, Colin, very much. With all my heart, thanks so much.